Hello and welcome to another That's Not a Tutorial. That guy's out of his mind. I added that last bit. It's just still called That's Not a Tutorial. Why? Because you will learn potentially absolutely nothing. If you do learn something, fantastic. My name is JK. I'm an artist from Sydney, Australia. Why am I holding the microphone like this? Well, on weekends, I am also in a Queen cover band. You can see us this weekend at the Pig and Whistle from 9 p.m. till midnight. Tip your waitress. Just kidding, you can't see me at the Big Whistle, but you can see me here on this page. If you do like the page, it's pretty, isn't it? Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to it. That's what I'm supposed to say, subscribe to the channel. The reason I'm holding this microphone really is because we are doing a new view today where you're looking down above my hands as I draw. So the microphone has had to give way to the new camera, hence why I'm now holding it. That was suggested to me by a lovely gentleman who said you'll probably get a lot more subscribers if you do it this way. He's obviously never seen one of my videos. It's going to take a lot more than a different camera angle to get more subscribers. Maybe I need to give away $1 million. Maybe one day. But until then, I'm just going to give you another drawing. This time I'm going to draw a whale. I explain it all very soon, so I'm not going to bore with you with that now. Enjoy. Here we go. Welcome to the new layout. You can now see my hands. Okay. There we go. I promise the excitement is over. Now, we are going to today, because I've been undertaking some illustrations from Under the Ocean, and a few people have gone, there's one in progress here. You can have a little sneaky peek of that. People have looked at them and gone, oh, those are lovely. Can you show us how did you do those? So I have already done a shark scene underwater, but I thought I'd do another one with a whale, because people seem to like this illustration. I probably can't do the whole thing because that would be a long video. How long would that be? Let's see how long this took me. Canvas information, statistics. 2 hours and 44 minutes, which is probably a tad on the long side for a video tutorial. Maybe unless, lots of people are like, no, we want to see the whole thing, the whole 2 hours and 44, then we can do that. But for now, we are going to draw a whale. I've changed the size. The canvas size, usually it's 4500 by 5500 or 5500 by 4500. But at the moment I'm drawing to the scale of A3 because, oh, that light just went out. Because I went to try and print this guy the other day on A3, because the size was not right. When I tried to resize it, it looked awful. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do this series, let me do them at a size where I can at least print them without having to distort them or change them. So that's what we're doing. So for those playing at home, if you want to do the same, 42 by 29.701, which will come out like that. I've just flipped it like this. And today we are, as I said, going to do a whale. So let us go canvas, reference. I've already got it here, but if you didn't have it here, you would just hit import. There we go, it's gone and go. There we go, import, and then it will import from your things. So this is the whale we're going to do today. This has come from an article. There's some snorkelers at the top because this came from an article about snorkeling harming whales. So we do not endorse that on this channel. But we do endorse the photo. It's beautiful. So let us, without further ado, start drawing our whale. Now I'm keeping an eye on the video as well, just to make sure nothing goes wrong. Probably just need to go like that, don't I? I'm also screen recording this as well, should anything go wrong, because let's face it, this is me. So let's get in our, as we always say, class, basic shape first. So he's sort of like a torpedo. I'm going to use peppermint pencil as per usual. Black. In fact, no. I've been enjoying drawing red lately. I don't know why. You'd think after my high school years of having all my schoolwork scrubbed in red pen with sort of nasty comments all over it, that I would be anti-red pen. But in fact, I have been enjoying the sketching process with a red pen. So we come for the drawing, but we stay for the idle babble that comes from your mouth. Thank you very much. So let's get in our basic shape here, like that. Look at that. How wonderful that is. It's sort of like a little torpedo shape, isn't he? Or whatever you want to call that. Or like a mouth, or... Yes. The tail fin, let's look, there's not a massive, the space between the fin and the top of the nose is much bigger obviously than the tail fin, so let's chuck it in about here. As he says, about here. There's no measurement going on here, there's no measuring, we just chuck things where we think they'll go. Let's chuck in our big old tail fin. Now look at this, look at this. This fin here obviously is very small. It's not in real life, it's just the way we're looking at it. That, everybody, is called foreshortening, I believe, anyway. I didn't go to art school, so I just hear other people say these terms and go, well, that sounds cool, I'll use that at some point. So that means, well, that's all you want from there, right? And then, obviously, this will be a lot longer, because it's the one that's coming towards us, like so. And there we have our tail fin. Actually got a bit of a line there, almost like, see that's a real crease there as to where that joins. Okay, so there's that. Body shape's not quite right, we need to actually make that thinner there and come down that way, like that. So let's just get our eraser, so we, oh, too big of an eraser, pull it back, Jesus Christ. Let's just get rid of these lines so they're not confusing us or making us anxious. Now thinking this is too far back, we need to actually bring that further up. I went a little bit too gung-ho on that, and that also wants to come up a bit, and then they'll go there, like so. Let us move our way to the head of our whale. A few bumps in the head there. Now let's go to his face, or his head, sorry, which also houses the face area. Now, don't forget, this is a cartoon, everybody, right? We're still cartooning. I know my recent work has been a bit darker, but it's still cartoons at the end of the day. So we want to make sure that we, like, still give it a bit of that lip, as opposed to just having it flat. We'll have the barnacles on there, of course, as well. We'll get to that in a second. The eye, now I have done my research, because with this photo, you can't really tell if the eye is sort of up here or it's this thing down here, but I can assure you that on a humpback whale, the eye is around this area here. So that could potentially be the eye. It's just a terrible photo. Well, it's a lovely photo, but just the quality is not great. So, in case for some reason the photographer's watching this and then sends me a complaint about, one, using his image, and two, complaining about it. So let's chuck in the eye there. It kind of looks like a big angry fish at the moment, but we will fix that. I suppose he is a fish. Well, he's not. He's a mammal, isn't he? Not really a fish. Anywho, this is not David Attenborough's channel. Also, when you're using a reference image here, something I learned just before is if you're zoomed in and you want to suddenly zoom out, you can just double tap your photo. There you go, 3 goes, and it will come all the way out for you. Don't say I don't teach you anything on this channel, because if you do say that, it would be absolute, well, be the truth. But let's get in this fin here. It's a little jaggy thing that's going on. It's not smooth, it's all jaggy, so we all make ours sort of jaggy, but probably not quite as jaggy. I just like saying jaggy. Let's chuck in this bit here, a few little jaggies. Let's go there like so. Not happy with the shape of this at the present moment, but we will fix it as we go along, as we always do, because we do this together as a team. And you know why I don't think it's right? It's because the proportions aren't quite right. So let's scale him down. Okay, let's get our lasso tool and let us just chop off the back end. And let's just move it down. We want him to be longer. He's not long enough. I think that's the problem. So let's just have a go at that. It's all, the sketching process is a very much as I'm sure everybody is aware. It's just trial and error. I mean, I say trial and error. I'm the worst teacher in the world, aren't I? You should, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of people on YouTube teaching you the right way to do things, so, you know, it's not trial and error and you get it right. With my particular style of art, it is very much trial and error. There's the basic shape. I'm still not quite happy with the shape of what I might do is, what we'll do is, I'm just gonna drop the opacity on this and we're gonna do a sketch on the top now that we've got our sort of basic layout. I do this sometimes. If like this, I'm not quite sure on the actual shape or the design that I'm currently, I'll get one sketch down, sort of almost like a warm-up sketch, and then I'll use that as I am now as a guide for my next sketch, potentially making some changes as I go along, like I might do here for the head. I'm just going to bring that, see how that was probably too fat. It needed to be thinner, so I'll just bring that down. Now, I could do that obviously in the initial sketch, but my brain can't handle too much of the scribble stuff. So for me personally, it's just easier if I just do what I'm doing now. Yes, it does obviously add a little bit more time onto things, but what are we if we don't have a little bit more time to draw a beautiful whale? Let's chuck our eye back here. I mean, the eye's probably a little bit big, but you know what? As I said, it's a cartoon. Probably the other thing that's messing with me is the fact that there's no other fin. I feel like it. I know, although you know, obviously you can't see a fin in the photo. He's got legs. What we're doing here, guys, is we're drawing through the ugly. I feel like I'd like to see another fin in there, just for the art's purposes. Obviously, when you're looking at a real photo, you know it's a real photo, and you go, oh yeah, that's a whale. But when people are looking at art, they're more critical because obviously it's not a real photo. And people might look at that with one fin and be like, well, that looks stupid. Where's his other fin? You'd be able to see his other fin and you'd be able to get this photo out and say, well, no, you can't, so back off. Actually, let's make his eyes smaller. That also could be messing with the proportions, couldn't it? Really? All right, there's our whale. Let's go with that for our whale. Okay, let's just drop that opacity down now. New layer, so we're already on 3 layers. And we haven't even started inking yet. So at the moment for the inking, I'm using for these particular illustrations a studio pen with particular settings, which if, as I say every time, if you want the settings, go to How to Draw a Polar Bear, settings are there. So now let's get rid of this for now. We don't need that anymore at the moment. Let's just ink in our whale. So as always, for inking, it's just all about confidence, not being too scared. Like people, you know, you don't want to be just sort of just slowly going around like this and going, oh god, yeah. You need to be a bit confident about yourself, because as I said in a lot of my videos, this is digital art, guys. You know, if you mess something up, it's not like, oh god, you know, you just hit the undo button and do it again. So just don't be afraid of just going for it. See the line, be the line, feel the line. Okay, a little extra fin that we've popped in. Also, there's, I don't know, they've got weird shaped sort of fins too, don't they? It's all squared at the end, which I feel like I'm not, that's also probably, I think, putting me off at the moment. Not that I want to have a go at the whale. I mean, look, he looks very angry, kind because I'm having a go at him. Sorry, Mr. Whale. So as you'll see, I'm not just drawing sort of big long straight lines, and I'm making them curvy, and then I'm having other lines overlap because it's still, you know, like creases in here. I did this extra line here. I'll do another one there just to give it some interest. Might leak later, but as you can see, to actually put these barnacles on. Yeah, so I try not to have too many, sort of see in this section here, so I try and have lines that overlap, so they're not just jagged straight into each other. I hope I make sense. I mean, I start saying things and I'm like, this makes no sense what I'm saying. I just hope you guys can get through the jibber jabber. I feel like I'm moving my iPad as I'm drawing, sorry. I've got to keep an eye on that. This is my first time filming it this way, as I said in the opener. So I hope it works out all right. I was told that this could be a better way of doing it, so I'm happy to give these things a go. So put in a few lines here around the mouth area, under the eye. I don't want to go too over the top in this particular stage, just because for those who watch these videos, have watched these videos before, I do use my shadowing as an opportunity to add more detail and creases into the illustration. So don't want to go too over the top with the black lines. Okay, all right. So what color, the whale we were using was like, he's like a black color, isn't it? Or sort of a dark blue gray color, and then he's got this white underneath the belly. So I'm thinking I might just chuck in a very thin line, not a straight line, we'll make it jaggy. Now the reason I'm doing that is pure laziness, so that when I come to color it, I can literally just do a bucket drop in there and make that a whitish color. So let's go new layer, reference layer from our inking layer. Let's get the blue, dark blue, and let's go to a gray blue color. So probably here. Let's drop that in. See what that doth look like. I don't mind that. I possibly want a little bit. That's a bit better. And let's go whitey grey for under the belly. Let's put that there. I'm going to use the same whitey grey for these barnacles. Let's use our filler tool here, so we can just dab these in here. Barnacles. Oh no, we missed one there and potentially there. Yep. Okay. Let's fill our eye in white. Cool. Oh, we've got some rogue lines, everybody. Couple of rogues just trying to get their way in there. Goodbye. Let's just bring our reference back again for a second. He's got this sort of the white around the edge there. A little bit of white there. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a little bit of this around the edges of some of the tail fins. I wonder if I should do that. Oh, change layers. Don't forget to do that. So just chucking a little bit of white around the edge here. I'll do a little bit of white around here. Don't worry about being smooth, because, you know, the whale's obviously not smooth, be jaggy. This is where you can afford to, you know, be suffering from the post-night booze up. Shaky hand man. I do naturally shake quite a lot as it is, so that's not a joke, I genuinely do. It's alright, I've been tested for lots of different things, but inconclusive. Okay, cool. So let's got that. Let's go new layer. Let's go clipping mask. This is where we're going to do our shadowing. Let's go nice and dark. We'll just go black, blackish black. Studio pen still for our shadowing. Now, this is where I need to make a decision, because I was thinking potentially it might look cool if the illustration was this way. I'd have to reposition him, because I was thinking almost like it was going for a breach. It's going up for a breach. No, let's just keep it the way the photo is. Okay, we could use the photo if we want to see where shadowing is, if you want to have a look at the photo and just, I mean, as you can see, all of down here, this is all in shadow, there's some light creeping in here. So we might try and follow that similar sort of shadow. He's saying that because in my head, I know I'm not going to. I might pretend like I'm going to, but then, you know, what's going to happen? I'm going to be like, oh, no. So you can do that big line like that, see? Then if you look at that layer, it's all joined. So then you make this your reference layer, and then you can literally just bucket drop. I love a bucket drop. Who doesn't love a bucket drop? Let's chuck in a little there. Under the old mouth, on the barnacles. What am I doing? I just said I love a bucket drop and I didn't do the bucket drop. Right along there, like so. Now, that's not being covered up because, for some reason, it's white. Let's go back to that light. Okay, so 2-finger double click, doosh. Bring up the opacity, slide it down till you get to a level that you are happy with. Still gonna fix this, still not quite. There's still a bit to do here. I'm just gonna make that all dark. Okay, let's do a little bit of darkness under the eyes, or eye. This is where I might chuck in a little bit of detail. Let's just a little bit of shadowing on these barnacles, so they're not just flat, like so. Okay, now I'm gonna do a new layer again, which will be again, it'll automatically come up as a clipping mask if you just do new layer in between those two. I'm using white. I'll put, opacity's dropped on that for some reason. Let's start again. I will put probably other colours as well. Let's just put white and then just bring the opacity down on that for now. Let's do a little bit of white on here. White over here on the tail fin thing. Bit over here because I was catching the light. I think it was catching the light in the other image. Okay, let's get rid of our sketching layer. So there's our whale. Hello, Mr. Whale. The shadowing is not perfect at the moment. What I potentially would do with this shadowing is, because it's obviously harsh lines, what you can do is you go to your magic wand. I love a Gaussian blur. So hit Gaussian blur, hit your layer, and then you can do that and it softens it up nicely, like that. So I might do that on this occasion, not too harsh. Okay, let's do a background color. So let's go a new layer. Let us get a sort of greeny blue. I'm gonna go maybe a little bit more blue than that greeny blue. Let's see what this color looks like. Oops, hold on. Now that happened because I've still got this as my reference layer. So I'm gonna take the reference layer off that. Let's go back to this layer. And there we go. So there's our base for, microphone just slipped. I've got it very precariously taped. I wish I could show you this setup, how I'm managing to do all this. It's very much MacGyverish. Anyway, so we have our background color, and then we work on top of the whale. Oops. That's bothering me. Why is that bothering me? I'm gonna leave that white I did before. I'm gonna leave that off for now. It's bothering me. Let's do a new layer right on the top. Let's go back to our color wheel. I'm gonna get like a dark color here, and I use the airbrushing for this because we want to be nice and light. I bring the opacity down around 40%, and a reasonably sizable brush, because when you look at we're not going to follow this one exactly, but if you look at the reference, obviously the deeper you go, the darker it gets, the higher you go, and the lighter it gets. So we're just going to basically follow that. What's this color? I can try and steal this color if we want to. Let's just see what this looks like. You can color pick on your reference image, so we can go right to the sort of bottom corner of that, and let's just lightly start popping it in. You know, the higher you go towards the surface, the lighter you want to press. Closer you are to the bottom, the harder you want to push, so you get a bit more. And it's just about making that gradient. Okay. Again, darker at the bottom. As we go up, we go lighter. So as you can see already, it's starting to look quite nice. So, and again, and it's just about keep doing that, just going over it and over it, bit by bit, darker at the bottom, and then just coming up. I want to come a little bit higher actually with the blue, like so, nice and gentle. You know, we could even maybe darken this, maybe go a bit more of a greeny grey at the bottom, greeny black, to get a little bit more green in the water, like so. Now let's change and go to a lighter colour at the top. Now I don't do these on different layers, I do this all on the same layer. We do a lighter colour at the top here, where he's coming towards the surface, and we'll just hit the top of him with this as well. Like so. Now, also, you can sort of see it in this photo. There's obviously, in the ocean, there's lots of stuff in the ocean. It's not just, there's specks of stuff in there. So you want to give that the effect of specks in the water. And that's easy done. You can get any spotty brush. I recently downloaded BJ Dell's cartooning brush set. Oh, not cartoon brush set, sorry. The children's book set, which you can get from his website. And on there, he's got a nozzle spray, which is perfect for this. So we get the nozzle spray. You can go white, you can go like a yellow color. I'm going to go like a yellowy white. It's set right all the way up to the top, and then I'm going to very lightly just go across with that pen and make these dots like this, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to, oops, sorry. Didn't do that on a new layer. I should have done that on a new layer, because what we want to do is bring the opacity down on those. So new layer, dots across like that, and then just bring the opacity right down, almost to the point where you can't see them. So just want that effect in the water like that, see? Like a so. Then we want to create some rays of light coming down from above. So let's go new layer. Now this is just playing around. There's no sort of, all my images and stuff that I do for this, it's really just, you're going to see me right now just playing around. Some things aren't going to work, some will work. It's all trial and error. Now I'm going to do the lights that are coming from, so he's going into the light. So I'm literally just getting my pen, as you can see, and just dragging across very lightly, give the effect of that light coming through from the sun. It's just coming down on top of him. I'll do a little bit, make it a little bit brighter at the top here. Like so, maybe make thinner lines. Here's another thing you can do as well. So let's go new layer again on the top of that. Still using airbrush, but I'm using a thin airbrush like this. And I'm going to do more prominent lines, like so. We'll see what we do here in a second. So just bring these out like this. Then I'm going to get our trusty Gaussian blur again. And we're just going to blur these lines up, like so. As you can see, it just makes that, again, gives you a different variant of the rays of light coming through there. Also, another thing you can do is you can use your erase tool on the layer where you do all your coloring and stuff. Get your erase tool, make sure the erase is set to airbrush, and just very gently, very gently, just bring it down across like that. Okay. As I said, all just a bit of trial and error, a bit of playing around. Just using my size tool here, maybe just to try and make the rays of light bigger. See how that looks. I don't mind it. So we'll do that. Okay. Now, okay. Just gonna see what it looks like if I bring the opacity down. No, don't want to do that. Just, as I said, again, these are all trial and error. I'll join these two together now. Probably want to play around a bit more with the colour. Go back to a greeny blue, but right of the light. And let's just... In fact, I'm going to go white here. Across the top, be nice and gentle. Like so. Now, add a bit of interest into the photo as well. I've shown how to do this on the last video, but let's go a new layer. We're going to go like a dark, potentially almost black. I'm going to go to my inking brush, back to my inking brush, my Studio Inker. Oh yeah, Studio Pen, there you go, Studio Pen. And I'm just going to draw in a reef down here. Right down the bottom here, like so. Just add a bit of interest. Although I'm thinking that he's coming to the surface, so you probably wouldn't actually see much going on down here. Not if he's in the middle of the ocean, really, would you? But nonetheless, let's see what it looks like. Just to put a couple of rocks here, because maybe he's near to the coastline. Just making things up now. Just want to see what it looks like if we get a little bit of interest in here, so it's not just blue and the whale. Like so, we can just do a little foliage and stuff. Because I do like to add a little bit more interest into these things. You probably could just leave it as the blue and the whale and be done with it, but I mean, I kind of like having a little bit of reef in there, and then the simplest fish you'll ever draw, just a little sort of teardrop with a tail on it. Maybe one fin over here and here. Can give you this sort of effect of just realised there's this is probably very annoying, this light here, so I apologise for that. I hope this video still looks alright. I just noticed that. There's not much I can do about that, unfortunately. If I turn the light off... Oh, see, that's probably something I should have done before I started this video. Oh, no. Welcome to the most professional tutorial video on the internet. Now, just turned off the room light, realising that there was a been a light there the whole time, shining right on the screen, which is something I should have seen beforehand, so I apologise for that. We'll get this, guys. It's my first time doing it from this view. Hopefully it hasn't been too annoying. I do have another light off to this side. I also have a ring light as well. I'm really fancy, but I know what will happen if I plug that in. You get an annoying little ring light pop into the screen, so we won't worry about that. Alright, so some fish down there. Still feel like our whale needs a little something. I'm going to do another layer, a clipping layer underneath the whale. I'm going to use like a bluey, grey, greeny colour. Airbrush. Oh, no, that's artistic. Airbrush. Bring down the opacity. Bring the size down a little bit. I'm just going to use a bit of sort of this green right underneath the belly here, just to make it a bit darker. So there's a bit more of a contrast between the top of the whale and the bottom. Use on his fin as well. Like so. At the same time, I'm going to use like a much brighter colour. Now my dog has started barking at something. But you might think, oh well, it's the dog's barking, but my dog doesn't bark at anything. So potentially I'm about to be murdered. At least I might get a few more hits on my videos. So now I'm just using this white to go across the top of the whale here, like so. I might actually make this guy bigger. Maybe he's just not big enough. Because there's nothing else in the image at the moment that can show the scale. Unless we put some divers in there with him. Just going to Gaussian blur this a bit more. Hold on, it's not that. Where are those ones? Ah, those are from my erasing. Okay, don't like that then. We need to fix that now. Which is going to be tough to do. Okay. Maybe I don't like him being that big. Let's group this together so I have to keep doing that. We could always potentially sketch in a diver. Now, I'm not using any reference here, so this could potentially be disastrous. I'm just wondering whether we can help with the scale by chucking in a diver. It doesn't have to be the most detailed drawing ever seen. It just needs to represent a human being who would be diving. Person probably wouldn't even be that big next to a whale, would they? I don't know. Possibly that size. This might not work. I may get rid of this completely, everybody, so stand by. Let's go. Inking pen, inking pen, inking pen. Now, as you can see, I haven't outlined him with black like I do normally. But that's because I don't really want him to be a focal point. I'm purely doing this to see if I can help with the sort of size, trying to get some sort of semblance of, oh wow, that's a big whale. So you know, you don't have to be overly, when you're doing that this sort of thing, you're not worried about too much detail. It's just so the human eye looks at that and goes, oh, that's a person scuba diving. Let's go erase tool. Let's make our inking brush. So it gives us a bit more of a clean line. This leave's probably a little bit fat. Let's bring that back like that. This hand probably needs to be a little bit longer. Like that. Yeah, you guessed it. Let's see what Gaussian blur does here. Gaussian blur does not help us in this situation. Let's get rid of our sketch for a second because we're going to need to. Sorry, I realise I'm going quite quiet at the moment because I'm doing some serious soul searching. I'm thinking I really should have thought this through prior to putting this into a video. But, as I said before, I like you to see the process that goes into this, because I think a lot of people just see the end result and go, oh my God, what a genius, that person, like, oh my God. Like, because people see, like, I did that whale video in 2 hours and 45 minutes and people are like, oh my God, how do you do it so quickly? Like, oh yeah. There's a lot of pain involved. It's not, you know, I'm not just doing this, yeah, it's, I don't know. I do like to show that it's not a simple process for anyone. A few bubbles there. I don't know if that works. Let me know in the comments if you think it looks crap. Oops. Oh, doing that dot just reminded me of something we've missed, but we'll do that now. Okay, I think that kind of works, sort of. Just wanted it to help with showing the scale. I mean, it's like a human chasing a whale. He's like, go away, leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. Okay, all right. New layer, white again, and let's just literally dot, 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 dot. We're just doing some dots. Dot, 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 and do it with a finger. Dot, 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 dot. doing some dots. There's extra little bright dots that you might see floating around the ocean. Again, just helps to build on what we've got. Also, what I'd like to do is, let's go back to our reef layer. Where's the reef? There it is. And I just will sometimes just put in some lines here just to give the look of sort of the rocks. So it's not just sort of this flat, dark sort of spot. So you don't have to be like precise about anything. You just, you know, make it look sort of rocky. So it's not just this flat surface, and then you see you've got a little bit of interest down there. People aren't really looking at that anyway, but it just sort of gives it a bit of an extra thing to it, so it's not just some flat thing on the what's it. And you can also use that white as well to maybe just do a few little extra things on the reef, or plants, whatever they are, like that. So there you go, that sort of gives you an idea, I suppose, of how you would sort of do an underwater scene with a whale. So yeah, so that's what I'm working at the moment. So there you go, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Not a tutorial, and the new view. Let me know what you thought of the new view, whether you liked it or not. If you liked the video, thumbs up maybe. If you didn't, abuse me in the comments section below. It'll give me something fun to read. Until next time, yeah, bye.